Boom, hey everybody. All right, welcome to Spaceship Earth on Sunday, the 18th in Gregorian times, but in galactic time, we are at 13.0, 11, 14.18, flying around on Spaceship Earth, and we are getting an idea of what's going on this planet. And we're going to have this tsunami of love. So predictions only happen before they happen. You can't make a prediction after it happens. So I've been saying this, even with Biden, that the best of us would have risen to the top, risen to the challenge to keep a democracy safe from this complete idiot, despot, whatever this MAGA movement, which is going on. So it's all about, which we don't like. Okay, this is not a good choice. We should be firm in our understanding that we are not into being a dictatorship ruled by some ridiculous kid who never learned how to play a sport or play with other people. In the light of what we're seeing in the Olympics and everything, and the teamwork and the way we work together and the way it's kind of ended up, is what you see, of course, is the best of humanity coming together, and we celebrate that every 4 years. And with whatever questions or darkness goes with that package, it's still wonderful to experience the human triumph. And this is what's happening with the Kamala Harris-Walz campaign in front of our eyes. We're seeing this type of thing. We're getting swept up. Well, look at the intoxicating nature of being swept up in a kind gesture. Isn't it more fun to be part of this movement of love? So I predict a tsunami of love. Okay, I didn't say where it was going to come from, and I didn't say what party it would be from either. But love has to be the primary instinct. Can you imagine if, I don't want what I want to do is stomp out and purge this whole oath-breaking MAGA segment of our government. I think we need to all have to publicly swear with a binding oath. If you break your oath to not work for the people, of the people, by the people, for the people, then you have to leave your chair. If there's any shade of corporate interest or self-interest is the last thing we're talking about in this social experiment. Now, remember, this is a good place. Now, first of all, Renee, what did I leave out? What's your thinking about this? What do you think?
So I like how you talk about a kind word, because actually in this election, as you know, and probably since about 2016 when Trump came out initially, this has been at the forefront of what we're talking about. Why is kindness at the forefront of what we're talking about? Because we saw what it feels like when the leader of the country, or someone who is trying to be elected as the leader of the country, has no sophistication, doesn't play well with others, like you said, there's no team spirit, and who actually kind of hates our country. You just posted on social media a TikTok that spoke to that. Trump is not used to kind words. He doesn't leverage compassion. He doesn't understand kindness. He doesn't see the value of kindness. So our country has been dragged through the mud during these years. And that's one of the reasons why Kamala, when she comes up and when Tim comes up, why we're responding so positively. That's why she's leading in the polls, because finally we're getting to breathe fresh air of kind words. Someone who is not like Kamala was doing a rally and her crowd started chanting, "Lock him up." And she said, "No, we're not going to do that. We're just here to win in November." She shut that negativity down, whereas
That's exactly right. That's exactly where the adult in the room should always stand up for.
Right.
But in my experience, it's been the kids. If I ever, as a coach, put any shade on any of my kids, the other kids would always step up to me.
Right.
It was really phenomenal. I mean, they brought me to a higher level of
Wow.
how to be more inclusive and more understanding. Now, you know, getting the ball in the back of the net's another story, but as far as fair play, this is the kind of thing. Now, and of course, my wife, she goes the other way. As many times as people are winning, she's always heartsick for the people who didn't win. She's feeling for the person who came in last. Well, can you imagine the person coming in last in a race, stepping up to the podium and grabbing a gold medal and saying it's mine because I said so? This is kind of what Trump's up to. This is what Trump likes to do. So, I can't believe it. How is anybody buying this? We
You
don't
know,
do this.
you
Okay,
know
this
what
is
I think, and I totally agree with your wife, by the way, because I view races and competitions in exactly the same way. But the reason why people are buying it, I think, is because there's a certain segment of humanity that's unhappy in a moment, and Trump can tap into that darkness and use it.
well,
They're
an
you
interesting.
know,
That's an interesting moment. So he can. Okay, emphatic. You couldn't be more emphatic. Can you repeat that for us again?
so at any given moment in time, there's a certain segment of humanity that is unhappy, displeased, frustrated, and Trump taps into and leverages that darkness. In other words, the worst parts of humanity, Trump leverages it. That's who he's speaking
Now
to.
here,
That's his
okay,
crowd.
no. And then you and I, we just talked about the Mad Max
Right.
saga that's going on. And if you're from another planet, it's a simple game. Us and them, men are programmed to have war and conflict. That's it. But the entire movie is on the premise of some other place getting, by whatever means necessary, through whatever war and violence and so forth. I mean, the violence in the movie is really untethered. Trucks beating up other trucks, and I don't know how many people died making that movie. Must have been a green screen or something. I have no idea. But if the extras they worked for their job. You know what I mean? Anyway, I mean, a lot of people got blown up in that movie. So I don't know if that's the and that's what we were talking about yesterday. I went into a small, I think it's fantastic. It was like a Thrifty's ice cream off Main Street, usually a dead store, but they put a game ball, like pinballs and everything in there. And I said, what you're missing is, Guitar Hero, like real competition, or EA Sports, which is really an exciting level of connectivity where people are, going to pay to watch people play other people around the country. I think that's a way to connect everybody in such a way. But going against necessarily the violent games and more into the non-violent games for that type of reason which came up real fast, And I think you're on the non-violent spectrum, aren't you, Renee?
Absolutely, absolutely, positively.
Like
Violence.
no violent. There's no such thing as violent. Like in your life, I mean, if you're a perfect world, you have no violent thing going on ever.
Right, right. That's what I would that's honestly because that would be the highest vibration that we could ride. That would be the highest evolution that humanity has ever attained. And just imagine a world like that. Like you and I have been passionate about we listen to Amy Goodman, we read what she's talking about. We are in tune with what's going on in Gaza, Ukraine. There's a lot of genocide going on in the world. What does that buy us? What does it get us?
Well,
Why
the
do we want that?
genocide, okay, again, remember, we have ways to see this thing, which is
Mhm.
which is collectively and individually and both at the same time, because that's the law of correspondence. There's a law that guides us in our thinking right now. Okay, one of us wants to get it big in the big all, big all. That's a big all. Like, but everyone, there's no such thing as all in a certain thing. There's only individual all. It's bizarre. Okay, it's like there's no. But here's the thing: at the end of the day, light over darkness. Usually, it goes light over darkness. And we're part of that light because we're able to use that light to create the energy that keeps the heart inside this body moving, right?
Right. And I like what you said about light over darkness, because as we all know, one little candle can dispel a whole room of darkness, but it doesn't work in the opposite direction. So light is more powerful than darkness. And I think that's what you're seeing on the election stage right now. And I hope this continues. I think
Well,
that's
this
why
is the
people are
ancient
excited.
story happening, Shadow of Colossus. Light over,
Right.
okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It happens in everything. We're watching this happen in Game of Dragons. It's happening in real time Game of Dragons. Okay. It's happening, and obviously Hollywood, those, they are definitely mirroring the thing that we are most concerned about in every aspect of our life. There's not much that's not completely designed down to the gnats, where the gnat take a poo poo, or a gnat takes a poo poo, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Gnat, a
Yep.
little gnat takes a poo poo at one point. I mean,
Yes,
everything takes a
that's
poo
right.
poo. That's the primary concern of Burning Man by those who are, with all respect, trying to help me, is where to take a poo and what to do with it,
Where do
and
they do that in Burning
how much
Man,
do
by
you
the
want
way?
to how much do you want to spend on that poo, and what can you do with it? See, that's the thing. Is there something you could do? I mean, is there such a thing as poo? What is that? No, it's something for something else, right? Like your poo is like food for another thing. Usually some kind of really amazing thing in the fungus kingdom. The fungus kingdom is one of the largest kingdoms. Five kingdoms, too. Can you believe this? What? Why would five be the number of the kingdoms of Earth? And why would five be the elements that we need to sustain our life on Earth? I'm fascinated with that. Five's everywhere. Look at my face. Two eyes, a nose, and a mouth that could be seen as two things, It's five things. So everything adds up to five. Honestly, I've had to do that. You take a 5-gallon bucket and say, "Don't look." Open the window. That's how you deal with that thing. But now the question is, of course, in the Burning Man type of situation, we're going in with this housing. So we have a housing. We have the inflatable houses. We're going to try them out and see how they work in this particular environment, in this particular application. We're going to see them along the way and how they react to other applications. I don't think we're going to do it every single time. It's a little bit hard. 8 minutes to get it up and down? We'll see. It'll be really, really interesting to see how we can adapt to this new tenting technology. Because I like making tents. I'm a tent guy. I started doing expeditions. I don't know if we can call it that, but I started traveling by odd means in college. When I was at New England College, I did a canoe trip. I was a canoe guy. We did a canoe trip all the way down into the Florida Suwannee River. For that 2 weeks, that 9 days, it was pretty arduous stuff. It was very primitive. So I kind of go for this kind of thing. It's not a problem. And then I was, trying to explain my life on Boulder Garden Ranch. For years, I would go and stay there when I wasn't here at Arch City, and I would take care of the ranch and the chickens and what to do with the chickens and what to do with the poo. We had some gardens, we had some trees, we had a big idea, and we had a process. There was a system in place, and what I was fascinated was with how we distributed the water. We had tanks, we had a few pumps that filled tanks. That was the main thing. And then those things would ebb and flow, and they would go off and do certain bits of work. And how could you get the most from the least amount of water? And we were struggling. We struggled. We had to go to the town every day to get stuff we needed. Just like, if you read the story of Henry David Thoreau and Walden's Pond, then I lived that one too. I lived that one. So this is why we're doing it again. Now we're going to be in a city. This is the thing. We're creating a city from nothing overnight. The goal of every camping, the goal of your life on Earth is to, leave a footprint and take a picture. In our mental capacity, we're going to be taking pictures to remember this life and what we learned from it. I mean, we've signed up for Earth. It's just like any other ride, getting a ticket to Earth is like a ticket to an 80-year Burning Man experience, if you think about it. That's the way I think about it. Did you ever think about it like that? If you do, read, go in the comment section. Leave me a mark in the comment section that you get what I'm talking about. I mean, my son is like, it's music and partying and be all night and everything. We want to be as far away from that center as possible if you want to get some sleep. But I'm still going to be able to play the drums to the beats on stage if I want in my own camp. And I don't have to go and be part of the crowd and do all that. See? It's going to be interesting how people are reacting to political situations. I can't wait to see that play out. And I explained to my other friend who was concerned about where I'm going to take a poo. I've been studying this since the first Burning Man. I didn't go. It just seemed, I went to Wyoming. I spent some time at the same time at this is our travel month. This is definitely in the DNA of the Charles family to go traveling at this time of the year. And so Joe and I get to go and do this. This is going to be so much fun. I'm a lighting guy too. I might talk my way into almost anything. I can do that with a GoPro in my head. Checking in from time to time. It's going to be fun. So I love lighting too. I see music, lighting. It's all going to be there. If I get a little bit early and assume, see, so much of life is such about this, that, and we talk about this on KP, on Free Speech Radio, one of the KPs, and Pacifica Radios, generally Pacifica Network. We spend a lot of time talking about the idea that thoughts are power. There's power in thought. There's power in a word. There's power in, positive thinking, right? There's power in manifest. This is, Burning Man is absolutely a direct result of somebody's idea. If you think about it this way, it's just an idea. And the next thing you know, it's reality. And then it's based on this other type of thing, which of course, you could say the Iroquois inspiration, but they probably don't even know. You see, this is how good ideas get transformed. They get transformed because they're good ideas. They have the light connected to them. Going against the light. We were talking, again, there's this, right? Yeah. At Shadow of Colossus, he is scratching, barely, clawing to not go into the light. It's impossible. It's impossible. That's the biggest takeaway from Shadow of Colossus. After all that toil, monster after monster after monster, there's nothing at the end but the next thing. So we're in a spiral. You have to see everything in context of a vortex. Now look at that. One of my friends from this place too is like putting up some kind of desert art as well. This is, I don't know what we're gonna see out there. It's gonna be, and what. So we were trying to get our mind around this thing because I had 640 acres is a square mile, but it's not just the 640. Like I could, from this one point of view, I could see the corners of our property pretty much from one point we had beautiful rock outcroppings, and there's I'll tell you more about this in other episodes as we come up. Boulder Garden was an amazing experience, still is an amazing experience, and we're going to go find out. We could find out in the next couple of days. I might see it. But what, it was a very slow, steady kind of the same type of experience. That's what I'm saying. How big is it? Well, this is supposed to be big. He said it's going to be big. Just be prepared for how big this is. And I'm more about, he said it was 7 square miles. So I'm thinking this is 10 sections in a large square, originally, and then with this horseshoe shape inside it. Can you pick up can you find a map, Renee?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for right now. Keep talking, and I'm trying to
With
figure
me.
it out.
I
Yeah.
have my map with me and reading it to you guys, but I'm not going to do that now because really what I want to talk about, I want to switch channels real quick. My personal adventure is going to be available for you guys all to see, and Renee is going to be with me, and she's going to help me make sure that you guys know what's going on as we are going through the process of Burning Man. Okay, it's just going to be fun. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the long through. I'm going to go through Nevada at the bottom, cut through Vegas, and go up to Utah because I love the color of Utah. I just want to see that one more time before I go to Burning Man because it's going to be pretty bleak, except for what human beings bring there. It's going to be bleak. I mean, what? That's the whole premise. It starts out with bleakness and ends up with fantasticness. In 9 days, comes and goes like a wave, right? Remember that? So that's what we're doing there. It's going to be long. But what I want to talk about is what's going on at KPFK. Because I have been a member, supporting member, and just a cheerleader for many, many years there. Renee, can you come up and give us a quick overview of what's happening? When is the election for board happening there?
I don't know. I'm going to go to their website so we don't get any misinformation. Let's get the updated information. Let me run this on here so that we can actually watch this, look at this together.
I'm going to let you take over here. I'm going to step back and listen. Tell us what's going on.
Okay, right. So, let me bring this up on the stage here.
So, service announcement for Cape. There you go. Let's go from here on. Look, from this number. What is this number? Whatever this. Okay, from 2348. It's KPFK all the way.
Right. So KPFK is free speech public radio. What that means is that a lot of places where people traditionally have gotten their media, their news from, their information, their facts, and it's been stifled. It's been prescripted. It's been relegated, and you're not really getting the full story. KPFK is different. Free speech public radio is different. Public means that this is for the people and by the people. So one of the reasons why we do funding drives on KPFK is because people like yourself, the average listener, anybody who's listening at all, anywhere on the planet, can donate in order to keep this thing going. Because it's not like people are on salaries here. It's not like people are getting rich off of this. This is literally a service by people for people just like you. So when you donate to KPFK or Free Speech Public Radio, you're investing in free media. You're investing in the idea that we should be able to have diversity of opinion. We should be able to say what we want to say. And it's really incredible because at KPFK right now, we're sort of moving into a hybrid situation with media. As everybody knows, most people are now listening to their media on social media, on the internet, right? So KPFK is sort of coming into that next era, and we're doing a lot of hybrid stuff. So you can always go to this website here. You can see in the upper right-hand corner, you can actually listen live, even if you're not in your car, even if you don't have a physical radio, you can listen live 24 hours a day. But we're also starting to leverage Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, formerly known as Twitter, right? And the great part about all of that is that I'm getting to see, as I'm producing, I'm realizing that social media is more restrictive often than KPFK public radio, which means that really public radio, KPFK, is still much freer than even social media. We will get a ding on YouTube. We will get a flag on YouTube or TikTok, and they'll say, oh, you're not allowed to say this or whatever. KPFK, as long as you're in FCC guidelines, like, there's certain words we don't say on public radio. Basically, your ideas are protected. So you're going to see a lot of different ideas on KPFK. And that's one of the reasons why. Now, Lance, I know you've been a long-term listener and supporter. You've donated before to KPFK. You're a huge advocate.
Yeah.
What is it about KPFK that resonates with you?
See, all what you just said is entirely your opinion.
Right, exactly.
You are absolutely free to your own opinion.
Yes.
Okay. And that's what's really cool, because I have my own opinion and it does not necessarily agree with your opinion. But how do I get an opinion is where it really matters. Because if you listen to one side of a story over and over again, you only get one side. If you go to this, I mean, if you're like me, you're probably here because maybe you're checking out all of the different areas. Like you got to look at some of the left wing, you got to look at some of the right wing so you can see the difference.
Right.
And the KPFK, because you're hearing that people from both sides are able to actually have a talk.
Yep.
Okay. So, what we're talking about now is what we can do. I mean, free speech is going to end the day that Trump is elected. This thing will be banned. Like, there will be knocks on the door at KPFK if we elect somebody like Trump, period. The first thing they're going to do is go after free speech. Am I right?
Absolutely. And you've already seen Elon Musk buddying up with his friend Donald Trump, who he reinstated to Twitter, by the way. He did that. Remember that Trump, after the insurrection attempt, was actually taken off of Twitter when it was owned by Jack Dorsey and others. Elon Musk subsequently bought Twitter, rebranded it, and renamed it as X under the guise of, I'm going to be more behind free speech. But guess what? It was all a Trojan horse with Trump in the Trojan horse. Free speech is not anything that Elon or Donald Trump cares about. But what they wanted to do was to jockey in time for this election to make sure that Trump had a bigger and wider audience. And now Trump is back on Twitter after 2 years off, or however many years off he had, and he is going to town, and there are millions, hundreds of millions of people who are being influenced by his tweets on a daily basis. But it's not about free speech. It's about manipulating the media to try to give Elon Musk changes the algorithms of Twitter to give unfair balance to himself, to Trump, and to other people that he believes in. So it's actually the opposite of free speech.
Okay, if you are here and are listening to Renee's voice and are hearing my voice maybe for the first time, I know that you know Renee's voice from other programs and don't agree with us, that's good. But you need to keep listening.
Right.
Thing is here. Like, how would you know the difference if you didn't listen to us for a refreshing reminder of what really free speech is all about?
Right. And Lance, you
this is the thing. We are using kind, impeccable speech as the home plate by which to create the starting board for the game. Okay, the game is based on integrity. Okay, if there's integrity, the thing stands up. If there's not integrity, the thing falls down. It's that simple. These are really binary choices that we're being made to look at. And it's funny to me how we like to just go ahead and elaborate and overindulge with compliments about how much we understand how we're getting screwed. Yeah. I just want to cut to the chase. For me, it's all about, do I have a place to sleep tonight? Do I have water, food, and energy I need to go and do stuff? And then because I was given gifts along the way, I'm able to tell you that it's time for you to do the same thing. And that's all, the only thing that really matters. But it's a lot more fun when you give it away. If we have plenty. The reason we need people coming over into this country to work the fields, because the people here don't want to work fields. Okay. The people who are coming really want to work fields. They love it. They just like the whole camaraderie. They bring a whole village with them. It's been happening like this for a year. I mean, since the beginning of it, the migrant farm workers like this kind of thing. If not, they have a chance in the United States to educate a child and bring them forward. And through DACA and all these great, programs, we can rise above and stick with it. We want to, you see, this is what Kamala was about. Is like, how can we work with Mexico to make them more attractive and less, repulsive? What can we do to help those folks become happier to stay home? We have resources that we need to share, because if we look at the Dymaxion map, we know that we have the green rain up here. Mexico's always struggled with drought and dryness. Okay, this was the problem for the Aztec people. But the Aztec people, through the high level of organization and integrity, putting these 5 things first, were able to manage the largest population North and South America, period. Next to the next one, sorry. Oh, I almost forgot, but I don't know. I guess it doesn't rival the same quality, because in North America, what was happening is Queen Mississippi, the Mississippi River, was the most abundant of one village after another village after another village after another village of abundance. Corn. And they had the meat. Up there, they had meat. You see, what happened in Mexico is they ran out of meat. No protein. No protein to support millions of people, 35 million people with no protein. So they had to come up with a way, that they devised a way by which to include protein in the diet in a very elaborate, sophisticated, ritualistic sport, mostly game-oriented sport. Mostly it was unmolested. Everybody's like, just leave, if you do the right thing and hang out, you are fine. If you break the law, you got to go down, they will just cut you up. There's no jail cells. It was just, death and barbecue, I'm guessing. So this is the kind of thing, it's how we look at things these days. What we're going to stay focused on here is, I think, the principles that we know to be true, which are Hermetic principles. If you're not familiar with that, how I got familiar with this, because I listened to KPFK at one point, and somebody made a connection to Buddha or Hermes or all these things. So I can come to you and say, pretty much they're all the same. They all go to this one place. They ended up being at the same place. You end up being the same best person you can be. No matter what you try to do, you end up getting there if you keep through, oh my gosh, all the self-help afternoon programs on KPFK, I owe a debt of gratitude to. I would like to can you put up a list of the shows? I think there's a list of shows. Let's just go down the line of
Yeah,
all
it's
people. Let's
there's
name.
so many of them.
How about Carrie Harrison? And he's one of my favorite people. Of course, Sonali, is fantastic.
Yep.
Let's see.
Tanda Sizwe and Gary Baca.
Know all new people. I kind of stepped away from that, got into my YouTube, jag. I've been making music and stepping out of the way, but these are all really important things.
Right. And
programs are very helpful. They are about helping. We're not interested in, and nothing's for sale here. See, this is the thing, which I think should be changed. I think this is one of the bylaws of this, but they refuse to change from me. My opinion, being what it is.
See, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's even the Ralph Nader Radio Hour, on Radio
Well, Ralph
Pacifica.
Nader is one of our heroes. Here, Alan Watts still working hard. The guy's been dead for years, still working hard.
He's
Can't go
still
wrong with Alan
working.
Watts. Come on, Chris
Yeah,
Hedges is very cool. You got to have Chris Hedges. Beneath the surface. Oh, Susie Wiseman.
come on, come
People
on.
need
She's
Susie Wiseman for nothing.
come on, how great that is. Look at
Susie
that.
Wiseman, she's great. Okay, and then Intifada, Radio Intifada, another super important thing. Okay, what Reggae Central? You want to find Chuck Foster is still cranking out.
Can you believe it? I
Chuck
mean,
Foster has been doing the best reggae forever. The Dead Hour, what Primal Dead, what
Primal
Folksy,
Dead is
come on.
there.
All these shows are really great shows.
Look
So
at
what you
that.
need to do is start getting them on YouTube now.
And look, this is
All
just
gonna be
on
available
this
on
is
YouTube.
just today. That's just today.
That's just in one day. Like, look
That's
at Monday.
literally just
Monday
what we
lineup.
did today.
So how do we get people to come to YouTube? KPFK YouTube is what we're trying to do. And so please leave us a message in the comment section. If you're one of the people that we gave a shout out to, please go back and give back to us. You know how important giving back is. Help me, help you.
Right. And look,
The
Democracy
whole thing.
Now, check
Yep.
this out. Democracy Now on Mondays through Fridays, 8 a.m. That's Pacific time.
Yep.
Democracy
Everybody
Now.
should go to Democracy Now. Then they should come to me and find out what I'm doing and tell me somewhere in the comment section what you're up to do this. Rethinking Heroes, super important.
Absolutely.
Gary
Absolutely.
Harrison, Global Village. Oh my God, Mashenko. Meldashenko. Global Village is like some of the best music you'll ever hear in the world. I mean, this is when you get the breaking news. Okay, Nita Valens. Right after that, do you want to? This is where. Okay, look, Nita.
Yep.
Has shown me the way. She has been talking about self-help and how we can work ourselves out of a bad situation through positive energy and working our way, in healthy ways, either eating healthy, thinking healthy, being healthy. I mean, it's all about the same thing. Now, what I'm also predicting, Renee, this is a prediction. What is that prediction?
It has to come before the event happens, not after.
Right. See, now what I'm predicting is that we can play the WholEarth game for the benefit of KPFK.
Yep, absolutely.
The GoFundMe is going to be called Seed What Happens Next. And it starts with each seed costs $1.20. What do you think about that?
$1.20 sounds really good.
You get sent 10 seeds for $12.
There you go. Yeah, you can.
Okay, now these seeds will be going off into 80% of that seed money will be going to KPFK.
Right.
Another 20% to pay for Renee because she's doing all the work. Okay, now you know where your money's going. Here, boom.
That's right, because we need to, I was thinking about this the other day, Lance, and I was thinking about how if someone hires a plumber to come to their house,
right.
they pay the plumber. There's no qualms about it. They pay the plumber. But if a band wants to play, or if a host wants to host, or someone who's an artist or a media person wants to do something, or a writer, everyone said, "Oh, your work should be free." What is that? Why? What is that double standard?
What Tony was talking about. You put a nickel in
Yep.
to get $1 worth.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to put a nickel to get $1 back.
Right.
So, that's the thing. So that's exactly where we are at KPFK.
That's where we are at KPFK.
They want to put a penny in and get $100 bill back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because this has value. Look at the value here.
This is why I'm coming to you as a friend, but I don't have any. Okay. The man needs to be on his own. Self-reliance is one of these things. We're going to go into, in a further episode, we'll go through the the essay on self-reliance, and not too far away, because that's a key to the game. What Emerson says in that essay is such that, do you give the man $1? He's not my man. Why would I give him $1? you know, you know, and they're not ours to fix. This is for our society to figure out how to do. Now we know how to do this, because if we look at the Aztec culture, if we look at the Mississippi culture, if we look at the Iroquois culture, if we look at all of the great tribal cultures in North America in the last 5,000 years, because that's really all that matters. Before that, they had to come to this level. They came, boom. It was in place, in progress, when they were hit with the demonic, satanic lust for gold and glory. Am I wrong? No. So that's where we are at KPFK. We need to be in that place where we can be self-reliant and also provide the services that people need. So somehow a new way is going to have to come. And so what we're going to do at the WholEarth Game is we're going to raise money and awareness for KPFK. So if you want to advertise, come to us. If you want to sell your songs, come to us. If you want to come to our marketplace, come to us, because we have a very simple program. We will just add 20%. You tell us the best possible price, we're going to add 20%, and we'll use that to pay me and Renee for doing all the work to get your product out in front of people. Seems like a pretty good deal to me. It's pretty much just like you would for a restaurant, right? Okay, so come to our restaurant and pay for advertising. It's like kind of a la carte advertising. It's like an advertising restaurant. What do you think of that, Renee?
Advertising restaurant is great. I love that. I love that. And that reminds me of something, because Psycho Surfers recently played their first gig at Garden Market in Carpinteria.
Oh, geez. Go ahead. Yes, they did.
That was amazing, right? First of all, how was the food there? Was it amazing?
Oh, well, okay. Now, Garden Market, location.
Yeah.
You see, you can even take an old grubby old band like that and cram them into the corner of a really nice place, and it looks great, and it sounds great. Everything was great. There's no such thing as a bad job on Santa Claus Lane. You know what I mean? So tell me what do you want to know? The food was great. The coffee's good. It was a little strong, but that's what house coffee
That's what
is.
good coffee is, right? Yeah. So good coffee, that
Yeah,
means they're not cheating you. That means they're not watering it down. That means they're giving you real coffee, right? But I wanted to talk about it because, they are on Santa Claus Lane, so only happiness can occur there. Absolutely. But tell me a little bit about model trains.
Well, see, we're in a battle. You think that only good things can happen on Santa Claus Lane, but we're in a battle, of course.
Right. Yeah, that's
We're in a
true.
battle for everything, because Caltrans wants to eliminate Santa Claus Lane because we're kind of in the way. We're like,
Ah,
and it's not really. It's between two cities, so nobody really wants to take jurisdiction.
there it is. Yep,
There it is. We're
there it
gonna
is on the map.
have some fun there. I don't care. I mean, we'll keep playing music until they bring the bulldozers in. Is what I'm thinking.
Well, how do we prevent that from
Well, let's
happening?
go. Hold on. Go back to that. Go back to that map. Isn't this great?
Okay.
Thank you so much, Renee. You're just putting up a great show.
Thank you. This is
Go
so
back to that
fun.
one map. See, okay, can we go into the Garden Market and from the beach? Okay, so just slide down a little bit.
Okay, let me go down. Let me see. This is from there. Oh,
Yeah, slide down a little bit. So it says the beach. Okay, so stop right there. It's a
okay.
flat beach, but there's a really nice surf break that comes across that one point where the
Beautiful.
one sign is. That's the
Mhm.
Rincon point, right?
Wow, that's
So
Mr. Rincon there.
the Mr. Rincon. These guys surf that point. It's a bear. It's up there with some of the best surf and most dangerous surf places in the world.
Right. Beautiful though, right?
Tom, who was there, he got here late, but
Mhm.
he was a surfer there. That's all he's done. He's a dumb ass surfing guy. Lovely dumb person. I mean, not really into all that stuff, but
Right.
not just a regular guy playing some music. So it's a flat beach. So this area has so that's a bird refuge. You see, the big green area is it's a bird refuge. So the only thing really that's happening is this little turnout. They just spent a lot of money on that turnout, so I don't know why they want to abandon it. So, but they're having some issues because the land there is super high, expensive, and you know can't really make the kind of money you need to service something like that. So let me close the door real quick.
Okay.
Do we have a song for the people? Why don't you go ahead and throw up one of the surfer songs?
Let me go over to your YouTube. Now, everybody, this is a good chance for me to do a little marketing here. Everybody go to YouTube and go to Lance Charles Drums on YouTube. When you get there, you're going to see, I'm going to show you what you're going to see there. Okay, Lance Charles Drums on YouTube. And when you get there, it's a whole treasure trove, okay? There's a lot of stuff going on over there. I'm going to show you this very, very, very cool that was just posted a couple days ago.
Oh, good.
This smoking hot one, and it's some political imagery over it. I think you guys are going to all really dig this.
I have three. We actually have three versions of Smoking Hot, and we're gonna put.
Yeah, there's like a lot of smoking hot going on. I'm telling you, there's a lot of smoking.
I think a good-looking woman in the White House is not going to be a bad thing for anybody.
Hey, nobody loses.
Nobody
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins. Like we can all. There's plenty. First of all, it's a possible thing that everybody can win.
I know, right? How come we forgot that? How come people just keep forgetting that?
What you were talking about, right? Yeah, put this up. Fun. This is fun.
All right, now check this out. Let's listen to Smoking Hot. Smoking Hot.
Is what we're talking about as opposed to just free or just happy, joyous, and free is what we use in a road less traveled to describe what we're trying to get to. And I think that's a perfect way to talk about it. What do you think, Renee?
Yeah, that was awesome, by the way. And again, that's from Lance Charles Drum's YouTube, and I love the way that you are taking original music. That's Tribal Me right there. That's an original song that everyone just heard. And then you're putting original messages. It could be political messages or philosophies over that. That's what really is connected. That's the holistic experience of humanity. Humanity is not just one thing. It's not just music. It's not just power or politics or philosophies or spiritualism or anything. We are body and blood, right? We are, and we are soul. We have all of that within us. And so I love that when you talk about the Hermetic principles, you're always talking about that type of thing. But what we just saw right there was really interesting political messages. I thought that was very convincing. And at the same time, you're getting to listen to this amazing original boogie that just sounds so cool. You just want to dance, you know? So,
Well, there's
anyways.
nothing wrong. I mean, a good looking. I mean, every woman likes to be told she's good looking.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, not good looking. She might be.
Right.
It just is a common courtesy. It's just something that you say, thank you very much, because we are the inferior of all this, of the sex, just because, and it's this inferiority complex that we've been talking about since Freudian days, and they're working it, to us now. The thing is, and this has always been the key, this has always been the test of the American experiment. When you're handed the power, up to now, it has never been tested this deeply, When you're handed this much power, you're got to give it up. That's what Washington did, and that's what we do as Americans, period, paragraph. Your dude has got to go. Anybody who don't want to play by that has got to go. We're not even going to play that game here. So Kamala is the only choice, and then, she is going now. What she does is of the people, by the people, for the people, or of corporations, by corporations, for corporations, as has been done to us since, Bush took office, Bush Sr. And Obama, bless his heart, went after and got that, the Affordable Care Act, which was very nice and very, very useful. But you look at all the things that he had to give up to get that. It wasn't pretty. That was a massacre. You could easily go after Obama for all that he had to give up to get to where we are now. So there's no why? Because I listen to KPFK. Do I know all this stuff? Okay. This is why I know. I'm not an expert at it. I just know that this is the way the game is played, and nobody's clean. It's not possible. Not possible. So you're looking for the highest level of integrity where it's still not clean, and you're finding, well, what Joe Biden just did was a great example of the highest level of integrity when it comes to one small thing you got to do to keep America, and that is give up power. So simple. I think she's kind of will give up power too. But now, will she use her power for the benefit of the people, by the people, for the people? I think so. Tim Walz is the guy that wants to make sure everybody gets free lunch. Nothing wrong with free lunch. Free lunch is not free. Free lunch is not free. But if you are alive in the United States, you should be free. And your ability to have a place to sleep and your ability. Now they're talking about low-cost housing. They're talking about housing already. It's all going out there. Now you want to look. Is this housing for banks or is it housing for people? Now, what's going to go on with the banking industry? The Jubilee is coming. We have to go to a reset. Why? Because you listen to KPFK and the history of what I'm talking about. If you like what I'm saying, give me some love on that comment board. Okay, we'll see you next time. It's exactly 1 hour, which is half hour more than I wanted to talk anyway. And I think that we're on to something here. You and me, Renee, I love you.